On Tuesday, I had a meeting in my office with Elizabeth Howlett, the younger, who is executive director of Peace House here in Ashland and a member of our congregation. And also with Curtis Paul, who works for Elizabeth as the principal chef and manager of the free meal that we have here in our parish hall every Tuesday afternoon for anyone and everyone who wishes to come. A meal known as Uncle Food's Diner for reasons that are obscured in the mists of time. Anyway, we've been doing Uncle Food's Diner here for a little over a year, and so it seemed like it was time to get together with our partners from Peace House and just kind of check in and see, how things were going from their perspective and share how things are going from ours and see what we might be able to do in the future to make things run more smoothly and to keep our neighbors happy. And I was struck during our conversation by the fact that the people who come to the meal, who I tend to refer to as the guests, which sort of fits given my role representing Trinity as the host of the gathering. Curtis refers to, and Curtis runs a restaurant, so it makes sense that he should call them this, the patrons. And the people, the guests, or the patrons, are generally among that category of people that used to be referred to as the homeless, but which those of us who take care to call people by a general term that respects them have taken to calling people who are houseless. Because after all, many of those in our community who do not have houses to live in have called this place their home for many years, longer perhaps than many of us. Some of them have lived here their entire lives. So to refer to them as homeless is, in a way, putting a boundary, a barrier between ourselves and them that suggests that they don't really belong here. They're not at home here with the rest of us. When in fact, the only thing that really separates them from us is that we have a roof over our heads. At least for now. And this matter of naming, of calling people by a name that respects them, that keeps open the possibility of recognition that is mutual, belonging that is mutual, is sometimes treated with disdain in our public discourse, as if we do it just to be cute or annoying or precious or as a kind of virtue signaling. But it's actually important. It's actually quite important to call people by names, preferably their own names. And one of the advantages of showing up regularly at Uncle Food's Diner is that the people who are without houses in our community have names, and you get to learn their names, and they get to know yours. And Jesus, in his ministry, is seeking to know people by their names. That is one of the ways that we praise the God that we know in Jesus, is that he calls us, as John's gospel says, by our names. He knows us and calls us by our names. So it's striking that in the Gospels, and particularly in these stories like the one we have today, where Jesus is coming face to face with the powers of evil that dwell among us, and that have taken possession of certain of us in ways that are clandestine, so that we don't necessarily even recognize that evil is at work in our midst. They kind of come out when Jesus shows up. They make themselves known to him. And they call him by his name. They recognize him, and he recognizes them. And he drives them out, so that the persons who have been taken possession of by these demons can own their own true names again. And today we hear about how he carries this ministry across the Sea of Galilee, dragging his disciples along with him, having rescued them during the night, during a stormy crossing of the sea. He lands on the earth, on the other side, in a country that is in the grip of the demons, and in the grip of fear of the demons. And strikingly, in this case, the demons and the person who carries the demons for the whole community is obvious. He's not lurking in the synagogue under wraps, disguised as just an ordinary church-going person. But he's instantly recognizable as demonically possessed. And he meets Jesus. He comes out of his hiding place in the tombs, and he's the first person to meet Jesus there. What is the name of the demons that hold this man in their grip? Well, the Gospels borrow a word from Latin. Legion. Name of Roman military unit. Somehow the name of imperial violence is the most apt description for the evil that holds this land in its grip and has subjected this person to its power. And in fact, historically, the ancient writer Josephus, who is our most reliable historical source for the period after the life of Jesus, who wrote the great history of the Jewish revolt, in the aftermath of which the Gospels were written, points out that that area on the other side of the Lake of Galilee, the country of the Gerasenes or the Gergesenes or the Gadarenes, and the fact that the Gospel writers can't agree on the right name for the place somehow seems fitting. Really could be any place. But that region was the first one that the Roman legions coming down from Syria reconquered as they suppressed the great revolt. And they did so with extreme violence, putting entire cities to the sword. And the memory of that, one might surmise, was still reverberating through that region at the time that the gospel writers wrote. In any case, once he knows the true name of the demon, Jesus is able to cast it out. And it enters the swine, who all of a sudden behave very uncharacteristically, because pigs are not herding animals. And yet they all mindlessly together rush down the cliff into the lake and are drowned. Like a legion going into battle, sacrificing their lives for the idols. And we are left with a person, a human being, clothed, restored to his right mind. And the response of the people in that region of the Gerasenes or the Gadarenes or the Gergesenes is not rejoicing. It's not gratitude, not praise of the power of God. It's fear. Fear that this person that they have tried to conceal from themselves, that they've put into chains and tried to hide away, but always unsuccessfully. He's always broken his bonds and gone raving back out into the wilds to haunt the outskirts of their city, is restored to them as just a person, just a human being like them. How terrifying how terrifying that the other should be revealed as one of us. And the man wants to go with Jesus, wants to go back across the lake, away from these people. He wants to go over to be with Jesus in his mission in Galilee. But Jesus says, no, you go home. You go home. Go back to the place where you belong, to tell what I have done for you, to be a witness of the grace and the mercy of God, who took you from being a demon-haunted other and recognized as a brother. So the question hangs there for us. Can we recognize the other of whom we are afraid? The one on whom we project all our fears of evil and disorder and madness? Can we recognize a human being? A brother, a sister, a person? Can we see in that person our own invitation to be known by God, not by our markers of tribal identity, not by our social status, not by our gender even, but as a child of God, one among all the children of God whom Jesus Christ came to heal, to set free from the fear of evil, one whom Jesus came to call into brother and sisterhood with him. In that glorious human body, in which there is no Jew nor Gentile, no slave nor free, no male nor female, no citizen nor alien, no gay nor straight, no Democrat nor Republican, liberal nor conservative, but children of God, free from fear and evil and hatred, free to come out of the shadows, free to see and know and to see and be known by our true names.